today is yoga for the lower back, hips, and psoas. And the psoas goes through the pelvis, connects to the bottom of the diaphragm and to the femur bone, so the top of your leg. So it's a really important muscle, really important for your spine health, your hip health, your breathing. Yeah. So let's start. You can always sit up on something like a blanket or one of the small bolsters. If you find sitting challenging or you feel like you're being pulled backwards, you can lift your hips up a little bit. We'll start just in your most comfortable seat. And when you're ready, if you like, you could close your eyes and tune into your breath. Feeling the breath coming in through the nostrils, expanding the lungs. And feel the breath leaving the lungs deflate. Feel the breath through the nostrils. Noticing that expansive quality of the inhale breath, the brightening, and then the contracting of the exhale, the softening. And you could bring both hands over your heart, or if you like to bring your palms together in front of your heart, tune into your heart area. How's your heart feeling today? And maybe you have an intention for your practice. And we'll chant one Om together. Everything is in vibration, so we'll make a sound with our voices. You can chant, you can listen if you like, connecting our voices in that primordial sound of Om. So you can empty your lungs out and then take a deep inhale. And if you have your hands in prayer, you could bring them over your heart. And now we're just going to do the sound of the Om. So this is called Brahmari. Brahmari means a bumblebee. It's a bumblebee breathing technique, creating vibrations. You empty your lungs out and inhale to hum. So we will shift into like a butterfly position with the soles of the feet together and the knees wide. And we're going to breathe here. You can hold on to your feet or your ankles. On the inhale breath, the knees are going to come up and in just as far as you feel comfortable. And on the exhale breath, they're going to go down and out. So just to whatever feels comfortable for you. And we'll do that with the flow of the breath. If you're stuffy, you can exhale through the mouth. Otherwise, we'll inhale through the nose and maybe exhale through the nose. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. you can go at your own pace. If you need to go slower, that's fine. Five, 4, 3, 2, inhale up, hold the breath in a little bit, and then exhale, let it out. Rock a little bit side to side, and we'll just do circles here with the torso in one direction. And other direction. And then take your hands under your knees and help your knees to come together. Separate your feet a little wider, bring your hands behind you, and just rock your knees a little bit side to side, like windshield washers. And then let's come on to hands and knees. We'll start in a table, so your hands will be shoulder distance apart. Maybe spread your fingers, knees hip distance apart beneath your hips. And cat-cow, so letting your belly hang down will arch the spine. Tailbone lifts up, chest comes forward. If it's okay for your neck, you can open the throat, maybe looking up. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, you're going to tilt the pelvis the other way. Head hangs, navel up, tailbone down, until you're empty. So move with the flow of your own breath into an arch and then into a round spine as you exhale all the breath out. So a few times like that. So this kind of movement, arching and rounding your spine, really great. When you wake up in the morning, you could do this. Really good for your spine, good for your nervous system. And then coming to a neutral spine. Let's bring knees together. We're going to open, I'm going to go the other way so you can see. We're going to open the right knee out to the side, circle it back, and then exhale down and forward. Inhale out to the side, circle it around, exhale down and forward. One more that way. And around, just as big a circle as you can do. And then reverse it. So send the knee back, open it out, and bring it around and forward and in. Just make sure you're breathing as you explore that circle, maybe one more time. And let the right knee come down. Other side. So let's take the left knee out to the side, back, down, and forward. Inhale out to the side, back, down, and forward. Maybe one more time. Circling the hip around, other way around, so back, up, out, and forward and down, back, out, and forward and down. One more time, big circle with the left hip, and gently let that come down. So let's turn your hands so that the fingertips are pointing towards your knees or the back of the mat, and see how that feels for your wrists.
Really difficult.
Yeah, so you don't have to go all the way, just go to where you can. And you can shift your hips forward, right? That makes it less of a stretch. So let's just gently rock into that stretch. Shouldn't feel painful, but if there's a little tight, just go to that edge of tightness. Breathe back and forth a few times. Yeah, and then gently release. And then you come back and you flip the backs of the hands with your fingertips pointing towards your knees. So the backs of the hands. And again, let's rock forward and back a few times. And then gently flip your hands. And we'll tuck the toes, bring the knees together, tuck the toes, and let's try sitting on the heels.
I can't do that. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's fine.
I was commenting, sorry. But you couldn't do it.
Okay, let's tuck the toes and see if you can sit onto the heels a little bit. If you need support for your hands, or with your hands, that's fine. Otherwise, you can sit up on your heels. And we'll bring the arms forward and let's do some circles with the wrists, one way and then other way. And then open, close, and point down, flex up, point down, flex up a few times. And then just massage one wrist with the other thumb. And down. This is actually really nice for your wrist. Other side. Massage, big circles with your thumb. Put some pressure there if it feels good. And then a little shake, a love shake. Shaky, shaky. And then come off your toes and maybe stamp out your toes. Nice. So with your knees together, let's rock the hips side to side. This is also nice to do in the morning if your hips feel tight. You can do big circles too. We'll just rock side to side today, but you can do big circles with your hips here. Nice. And then we're going to step the right foot forward into like a lunge, but it's a 90-90 lunge. So 90 degrees front leg and about 90 degrees. So your back knee is right under your hip to start out with. And you can bring your body up if you feel good there, find your balance. Okay, so we're going to explore tilting the pelvis here in this 90-90 lunge. So you can bring one hand to the front, like your lower abdomen, and one hand sort of to your lower back, and explore tilting the pelvis forward, and then tuck the tailbone down and forward. Okay, tilt and tilt. So you can keep your hands here, or you can bring your arms forward, tuck your chin, round your spine. In this form, your tailbone is tucking down and forward, navel in. And then inhale, you're gonna dive the chest forward, arms back. Exhale, come back. And this is stretching the front of your left hip flexor and the psoas there. Inhale, forward. Open your chest, exhale back, curl a little bit. And really bring that tailbone down and forward. Inhale. And exhale. And maybe one more time. Inhale. Open, exhale, curl, and hold and breathe. Hold and breathe in your curl, and gently release. So let's bring your hands down. You can use blocks here if you like, one on either side. But we're just going to shift the hips back and forth. So maybe slide your left knee back into a longer lunge. If you need cushioning for your knee, find a cushion. And we'll rock. And you can round a little bit as you go back if you like. You flex the front foot. It does not have to go straight here. You can keep your right leg bent. Inhale forward into your lunge. Exhale back into a right leg stretch. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Breathe a couple more times. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And one more time. And then we'll pause in our lunge. So then we'll bring the body up. So now we're in a slightly longer lunge with the knee back. You can tuck the back toes for support. And maybe you have blocks here. The idea here is that we're lining the shoulders over the hips. We're sinking into the lunge, but you're still nice and tall through the crown. You could inhale the arms up. And then we're gonna dive forward on an exhale, navel in, and just sweep the arms back. So let's inhale, bring the body up first, and then follow with the arms. And exhale, and one more like that. Inhale, and you can hold here, maybe with your arms up. Maybe you have blocks for support on either side, or you could cradle the back of your head and open your chest. Breathe. Into your lunge, breathe. Exhale into your lunge. Inhale, lift. And exhale, let's bring the body and arms down. So now we're gonna heel toe the foot a little wider, the right foot, I should say, and you can even turn your toes out if that's comfortable for your hips there. If you like to turn it out, open that up. And you're supporting yourself with your hands here or on blocks. So we're not gonna come down yet. Tuck your back toes if they're not already. An option to a few times lift the back knee and gently lower it. Lift the back knee and gently lower it. And one more time, lift the back knee and lower it and pause. And then option to lift your toes, pointing up, gently lower. Lift your toes, bending the knee, gently lower. Lift your left foot up and gently lower. Okay, and we're just gonna stay a little bit more. So here, if you wanna go lower, maybe you rest your forearms on blocks or a bolster, or maybe you stay exactly where you are. Maybe this is enough of a stretch for you. Just doing a deep stretch here for a few breaths.
So this is stretching the front of the thighs and
all of that you just described, yeah.
Don't normally stretch.
Yeah, good, breathe. I've done this sequence like a number of times now, and I'm feeling it. Yeah, breathe. There you go. And then for the last breath, let's do the bumblebee. Inhale. Your hips shift back and slowly, gently bring your right leg back. And just any movement here that feels good after that deep stretch in the lunge. Anything that feels good. Breathe, that's right. And then when you're ready, step your left foot forward into, we're gonna start with that 90-90 lunge. So when you're ready, if you can come up on your knee in your lunge. So here, one hand to the front of the lower abdomen, one hand to the back, just so that you can feel the movement of your pelvis here. So let's tilt the pelvis forward, tuck the tailbone down and forward, so navel in. So tilt it forward, tilt it back, one more time like that, tilt it forward, tilt it back. So as you tilt it back, let's bring the arms forward, chin down, you're kind of rounding here. And then inhale, chest forward, lean forward, and then exhale, bring that tailbone down and forward, navel in. Inhale, forward. Exhale, curl. Inhale. Exhale, curl. Two more times. Inhale. Yes, exhale, curl. Last one. Inhale, open your chest. Exhale, curl, hold here and breathe. Tailbone forward, chin down, breathe. Good, and then gently release. We'll bring your hands down. So now you're gonna slide your right knee farther back, just to your body's capacity today. You can relax your foot or you can have your toes tucked, whatever you like. We're gonna shift your hips and body back as you lift the front foot into a flex. Totally fine to have a bent front leg. Inhale forward into a lunge. Exhale back, maybe forehead towards the knee, but that's just optional. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And two more times. Inhale forward into your lunge. Exhale back, stretch the front leg, toes up if you can. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Good, and then inhale forward. And then we're gonna come up from here. You could bring your hands to your front leg. So in your lunge, you could use your blocks here, shoulders over the hips, navel in, growing tall through the crown, exploring your lunge here. Option to bring your arms up. Inhale, breath. With your next exhale, body and arms. With your next inhale, body up and arms follow. And then 2 more like that. Exhale, navel in, hover here. Inhale, body up, arms follow. 1 more time like that. Body up, arms follow. You can hold here. If you prefer to use your blocks, you can use the support of your blocks to explore your lunge. Breathe, option to cradle the back of the head, open the heart. Breathe, exhale, you explore deepening into your lunge or just being where you are. Inhale, there's a buoyancy, there's a lightness. 1 more breath. And with an exhale, bring your body and arms down. And then we're gonna heel toe that left foot wider. So just find some movement there in your hip joint. Maybe the toes angle out a bit. Maybe you roll onto the outside of the foot. But do something similar that you were doing on the other side. Okay, tuck your back toes, and when you're ready, option to lift the right knee. And exhale, gently release. Inhale, knee up. Exhale, gently lower. 1 more time. Gently lower and pause. Okay, inhale, lifting your right foot up, point the toes up. Exhale, gently lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 1 more time like that. Optional, we're exploring. Good. And then we're gonna hold here in this lunge. So you can stay where you are. You could maybe bring your body further down. Breathe, wherever you are, breathe. That's the most important thing in your yoga practice. Breathe. And 1 more bumblebee breath. Inhale. Pause, and then when you're ready, just start to shift your hips back. Bring your left leg back very gently. Find some movement that feels good after that. And then gently sit down and bring your legs forward. Somewhere in the middle of your mat will be good. How you doing? You getting in there?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Like I want a new mat for my knees.
Yeah, your
makes a difference.
little knees. Yeah, but not next time. Like you could even put Mark's mat on top. Just let me know because we can get you a thicker mat. Let's lean back into the hands with your knees, your legs and your knees bent and your feet forward sort of like this. And you might have to lean back. You're going to cross I'll do opposite you. So you cross your right foot over like a figure 4, like a seated figure 4, and flex your right foot in front of your left knee. Yeah, and we'll rock that over so that your foot comes maybe almost or right to the ground, and rock it back up and over all the way to the knee. So just sort of all the way side to side, about 3 times. Just go as far as your body allows today. Okay, and then we'll pause and center with the figure 4 on the right side. Inhale and exhale, we'll lift the pelvis and hips up maybe. And inhale, lower down. And exhale, lift. And inhale, lower. 1 more time. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, and pause. And then the last part is just to bring your body up just as far as it will come comfortably here. Into a stretch, breathe into that. And then gently release the right leg down. You could windshield washer a little bit just to release that. And then we'll do the other side. So cross your left leg over, flex your left foot. Yeah, it doesn't matter, and you may need to lean back farther to do that. That's totally fine. Flex the foot, it protects your ankle and your knee to flex the left foot. And then we'll start to rock over and over a few times. About 3 times each side, and then back to center. When you're ready, take an inhale breath. Exhale, lift your hips and pelvis. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And one more time. As long as you're breathing, it's great. And lower. And then option to start to lift your chest up, just finding just as far as your body allows you in this seated figure 4 stretch. Lifting your chest. Yeah, that's right. Breathe. Good. And then gently release. Maybe rock a little bit side to side. And then come onto hands and knees. And we'll shift into a downward dog or mountain form, so like an inverted V. You can pedal out your heels if that feels good. Connect with your breath. Good, and then bend your knees. You're gonna look forward. You're gonna step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, bend the knee in sort of like a wide lunge. There, yeah. Don't get too comfy here. And then you're gonna step it back. And then you're gonna go same thing, left side, left foot, sort of a wide lunge to the left of your hand. Good, and then step it back. So this time you're gonna step your right foot to the right there, keep it there. Take your time, and then you're gonna step your left foot to the left and just find a wide squat here. And breathe. Yeah, it doesn't matter how far down you go. Good, and then you're gonna step your left foot back and then your right foot back and back to downward dog or mountain. Good, and then you're gonna step your left foot forward into that wide lunge again. And then right foot forward into the squat and pause in your squat. Breathe. And then like turn your toes in and start to lift your hips up into like a sort of wide-legged forward fold here, like a medium, I don't know, 2 or 3 feet wide. Here, forward fold. It's totally fine if your knees need to stay bent, that's fine. Inhale, exhale, let's sit down into the squat. Inhale here, and then exhale, lift your hips into like a forward fold. 2 more like that. Inhale, squat. Maybe looking forward, exhale, lift. 1 more like that. Inhale, squat. And exhale, lift. And just hold here. It's fine if your knees are bent. It's like a wide-legged forward fold. Breathe. You can use blocks if it's helpful. Maybe toes in a little bit more, Leela. Yeah. There you go. Breathe. Breathe, people. Good. Okay, let's bring hands to hips. Okay, elbows up. So you bring your shoulders. So you're going to bend your knees, navel in, and you're going to extend your ribs forward, your chest and your ribs forward like you're flattening out your back. And then use your next inhale to rise up with a flat back. And we'll heels in, toes in, heels in, toes in. And so your feet are now maybe a little wider than the hips. And we'll circle the hips in one direction. And other way around. And then you're going to make a figure 8 with your pelvis. So if you turn your right hip forward and your left hip back, hands on your hips, and then you're going to take your right hip forward and to the right and back, and then left hip forward and to the left and back. And then, so you can bend your knees here, and so you make a figure 8 with your pelvis. There you go.
It's my new dance move.
Yeah. Good, and then nice, and let's just wiggle that out. Okay, and let's bring your feet, or bring our feet into parallel hip distance apart now. Just anywhere in your mat is fine. Something like this, and we'll sit down into chair, Utkatasana, powerful pose. Most of the weight goes into the heels. Make sure your knees are tracking forward over your feet, or at least that's the aim, that's the goal, palms to the floor, and then we'll inhale up. So we're gonna add the breath work to this. You just go down as far as your body allows, and you can squeeze your glutes on the way up if you like. Inhale, exhale, either through the nose or you could exhale through the mouth. Option to sit down lower, palms together, arms up by the ears, and then a big inhale, stand up, and exhale. Let your arms come down, wiggle out your legs, and then just pause. Feel your feet on the ground. Your heartbeat. Nice. Let's bring your feet together somewhere near the top of the mat. You might find a block helpful for this next one, so just notice with your eyes where your blocks are, hands on your hips. So triangle, we're going to take a step back, maybe 3 or so feet with the left foot. Yeah, we'll be facing these windows. So your right toes are pointing forward, your left toes are at maybe 90 or maybe turned in a bit. The pelvis, yeah, I know.
We can see you.
Oh, it's all fine. They can just follow my voice.
Okay.
But thanks. And I don't actually know, like the screen went off, but the camera's still on, so I think it is still filming. So we'll see, but yeah, thank you. So your hands on your hips, we're gonna tilt the pelvis. So the right hip is gonna tuck down and back, and the left hip is gonna go up a bit. It might even just feel like not much movement, but you're just intending to tilt the pelvis a little bit there.
The left goes up.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
Just visualize it with your mind. Yeah. So right hip down and back, left hip up a little bit. Let's open the arms. Firm up your legs so you squeeze the muscles to the bones and you reach. So you keep the pelvis where it is. You reach like you're reaching over a table. Open the palms. You're going to rotate your right arm down, fingertips to the block or to your leg or the floor, whatever you can reach. Your left hand could either stay on your hip or you can reach it up. Turn your gaze either to the side or up beyond your left fingers and breathe. Breathe into this form. Good. One more big breath here. With strong legs, use an inhale to bring your upper body up, and then just let your hands come to your hips. We're going to bend the front knee. So right knee bends, and you might wiggle it forward a bit because your lunge is going to take up more space, right? And then we'll bring, so the block is good too, but we'll bring forearm on top, right forearm on top of the right knee, or a block in front of your right heel and fingertips to your block in front there. Okay, your left arm can extend down the length of your body if you like, And you could sweep it up and over your right ear. No, it's your left ear, right guys? Yeah, your left ear. So option to keep your left hand on your hip, or you can sweep it long like it's an extension of your left leg, and maybe look at your left hand and breathe. Extended side angles, so big length through the whole left side of your body from the edge of your left foot all the way beyond the fingers for one more breath. Very good. Now we're just going to rotate that left arm down to the ground and right hand down on either side. Lift your back heel and sort of come into a lunge towards the front of your mat. And we're going to wiggle the right foot over towards the left. And we're going to gently lower the right knee down towards the right. We're moving towards either pigeon or a seated 90-90. So if pigeon feels like, woo, way too much, you can sit down on your right hip and bend your left knee out to the side. So for those of you watching, we're either wiggling the right foot over, gently lowering the right knee, and extend the left leg back towards pigeon. If that's too much, you can sit down on your right hip and bend your left leg. You can also place something under the right hip for support if you're floating, feels too heavy here. Before we come down, we're gonna walk the upper body over to the right. As you walk your upper body towards the right, it helps your pelvis to turn. The right hip back, left hip forward, and then bring your body back. And now, if you like, you can settle down into your stretch here. So maybe you bring the body down onto blocks or a bolster, and we settle somewhere. Okay, and if you're in 90-90, it would look maybe something more like this, where all of your weight is on the right hip. And breathe here. Yeah, you shouldn't have any pain in your knees, right? You have to protect your knees.
So my left hip's sticking up a bit. So
that's fine.
Just the way it is?
Yeah, that's just the way it is, no problem. Are you feeling some stretching happening?
Yeah, all in and around the right hip.
Perfect, so that's what matters. And as long as you don't have any pain. And breathe. Okay, so remember, if you had an intention at the beginning of your practice, or maybe you just bring your awareness to your breath, and you bring that breath into those sensations that are present in this form. And see if you can observe the form, observe the sensations, exploring like the witness of this form, and any thoughts or feelings that might also be present. So for one last breath, you can come out anytime you need, but if you're here for one last breath, we could add bumblebees when you're ready. Inhale. So those bumblebees are super powerful because they create vibration, but they also help you to lengthen your exhale breath. So as you're ready, you're going to start to shift the body, maybe gently taking all your weight onto that right hip and bringing your left leg forward, and just take your time, find any movement or stillness that feels good after that. And I hope you can forgive me.
There's
nothing to forgive. You can only do what you can do, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you know, when we have pain, we always want someone to blame, right?
You made me do this.
Except for those of us, those very wise souls. Okay, so, or we have our moments, right? So let's come back into mountain. when you're ready, no rush, and connect with your breath. And then as you're ready, look forward, and you're gonna step maybe one at a time, or you can hop forward into a squat, and then you can lift your hips up from here, turn the toes in a little bit, relax your head. Bring your hands to your hips, and when you're ready, inhale, come up with a flat back. And heels in, toes in, heels in, toes in, and then step your feet together. So we begin the other side with triangle. So you this time step your right leg back about 3 feet. And we're gonna open up to that side. Left foot points forward, right foot points out to the side, or 45. And with your hands on your hips, you can just notice that your pelvis is opening to the right side of your mat. And then you're gonna tilt your left hip down and back.
Left hip.
Left hip down, the front hip.
Oh, front hip.
Yeah, front hip, exactly. Yeah. And then open your arms parallel to the floor. Keep your pelvis where it is. So imagine someone has like a hook on your back hip and they're anchoring it back for you as you reach forward. So that, yeah. Reach forward as if you're reaching over a table. Open your palms, windmill the left arm down. Either find your block or somewhere on your left leg, and then option to have right hand on your hip or reach your right arm up, taking your gaze to the side or up, and breathe. Now if you get pain behind that left knee, if it's too much, just take a little micro bend there. Breathe. Most important that you're breathing here. Breathe into this shape. As you move the energy into those tight spots, it feels uncomfortable, but it's opening it up. It's bringing the life force there. Use your next inhale to rise up with the body. Hands to your hips. And when you're ready, bend your left knee and maybe wiggle your lunge a little bit wider, your step wider. Because we're going into a lunge now, so you either have your block in front of your left heel or forearm to the knee. Your body opens to the side here, maybe your right arm along the right leg, and you sweep it out and up and over the ear. It's optional. Maybe you look up at your hand and breathe. So just notice the sensations that are happening in your body's communicating to you. Breathe. Let the breath flow through the whole shape, or you can just imagine it. Very good. Breathe. Lengthening the whole right side of the body for one more breath. Very good. And then on an exhale breath, you're gonna rotate the right arm down, lift your back heel, and face forward in a lunge. So here we go. We're gonna start to wiggle the left foot over to the right. Gently, using your arms for support, lower your left knee gently to the left. Yeah. And then you'll bring the right knee down and relax the right toes. So, and this is either pigeon on this side, or you can take all the weight down onto your left hip and bend the knee to the side for 90-90 seated. Okay, if you're in pigeon or wherever you are, we're gonna walk the upper body to the left as if you're taking a little twist. And it helps to guide the left hip back and right hip forward. Then bring your body back and settle into your hip stretch here. So, and settle in, breathe. You can support your left hip by placing a blanket, a pillow, or a block under your hip, if that's better. Breathe. Maybe you lengthen your exhale breaths, and you can notice all the sensations. See if you can notice them without judgment. Soften into the witness aspect of the mind. Observing your experience. And breathe. And breathe. just a few more breaths here. It's optional. You can adjust as needed. And maybe a bumblebee breath here. Inhale. Beautiful. And then slowly follow your impulses to shift out of this form. Maybe rolling onto the left hip and gently lean to the side so you can bring that right leg forward. And just move or pause. Okay, the next part will be lying on the back. You can turn around if you like with your feet that way. Have a block close to you, one of the purple blocks close to you for this next part.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can bend your knees with your feet on the ground. Take the block in your hand. Lift your hips and pelvis up and place the flat side of the block under your tailbone and sacrum. So behind your hips, not your lower back, but lower than that. So it should feel nice and solid and stable underneath the back of your hips, supported. And then bring your right knee in towards you. Interlace your fingers behind the right knee. So you're just sort of holding your right knee in towards you a little bit. You don't have to pull it, just hold it. And then see if you can extend your left leg along the mat. So you're sort of stretching the left leg out.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, feeling it.
Yeah, but you're not straightening the right leg. You're just keeping it bent. So relax your right knee bent. Yeah. Okay, and then option to bring the left knee, so bend your left leg as if you're bringing the left knee back in, and then extend it again slowly so the leg touches the ground as you stretch it out. Extend, yeah. And then inhale, bring it in, bend your knee all the way in, left knee in, yeah. And exhale, stretch it out. And one more like that. Inhale, bring it in. And exhale, stretch it out and stretch it on the ground. Yeah, let it. And then option, you can hold your knee here and pull it in, or you can clasp on top of the knee if that's available, the right knee, same knee. And hug the right knee in towards you, your right shoulder, as you stretch the left leg along your mat. And breathe. Make sure that as you actively stretch here that you're able to breathe. So never go beyond your ability to breathe. Very good. And one more breath. And gently release the tension there. Place your right foot down with your knee bent and bend your left knee again. So you come back to where we started. Switch sides, interlace underneath your left knee. Just holding the left knee in with your hands, and then when you're ready, extend your right leg along the mat. Breathe. Yeah, and then inhale, bend your right knee back in, your right leg, and then exhale, stretch it out. You can point your toe if you want. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, stretch it out. Touch the mat if you can. If you need to bend the knee to touch the mat, that's fine. One more time. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, extend it and pause. Option to interlace your fingers on top or your hands on top of your left knee, or keep it behind if that's better for you. Hugging the left knee up towards your left shoulder as you extend the right leg along the mat. And breathe. Make sure you can breathe as you stretch here. One more breath. And then gently release that stretch. Bring both knees bent to the floor. Knees up, feet on the floor. So now we'll take about a minute of constructive rest here. Your feet are going to come wider. Your knees can rest in on each other. So with your knees bent, your feet go wide, and your knees rest in on each other, arms by your sides or wherever they feel comfortable. So you could stay here, or you can extend your legs along the mat if you prefer. Your choice. And we'll just rest here for about a minute if that's comfortable for you. Breathe. You can bring your awareness to the pelvic area and the reproductive organs, and just rest your awareness there and breathe. You can imagine the psoas, or visualize your psoas connecting to the femur bones, running through the pelvis on either side and up and connecting to the diaphragm. Let your breath be soft. And one bumblebee breath here, deep inhale. And then very gently, if your legs are extended, bend your knees, lift your pelvis up gently, use your hand to remove the block out to the side. And we will windshield washer the knees side to side a few times if that feels good. And then to center. And we'll let the knees go to the right and pause there. And you can stay here, or if you like to explore, you want to lift your right leg up and place your right foot on top of the outside of your left knee, just sort of like as an anchor weight. It's optional. And breathe. Just an internal rotation of your left hip there. And then gently release. And knees up and over to the other side. And pause there, and option to lift your left leg and foot and place your left foot on top of the outside of your right knee as a counterweight there, and that internal rotation of your right hip. And gently release, and bring your knees to center. Straighten out your spine, and then bring your knees in towards you. Option to wrap your arms around the knees. You want to be gentle here in your rounding of your spine. But anyone else, you can wrap your arms around your knees, hug your knees in, and then option to lift your head off the mat, curl your forehead in towards your knees, and breathe. And then gently release when you're ready. Gently, gently place your body onto your mat for Shavasana. You can get whatever you like to have for Shavasana. Maybe a bolster, maybe socks. It's pretty nice and warm in here, but we do cool down in stillness, so get whatever you like to have. Do you want a bolster?
I really need to stretch my back. I think I'm going to skip it.
Okay. So I'm here. Let me know. Do you want a bolster, Jordan? You're good. Yeah. So, if you like, you can close your eyes, connect with your breath, and you can feel the parts of the body that are connected to the surface beneath you. And let the weight of the body sink down through those parts. into the support of the ground. Let the body be heavy. With an exhale breath, sinking down. And we practice allowing the body to relax and soften. All the layers of the body soften. The breath becoming effortless, you can allow your muscles to relax and soften. Any unnecessary holding here, or any more holding, maybe the jaw between the eyebrows. And even if you can't feel, you might notice some holding somewhere in your body and it feels like, I don't know how to let it go. Just bring your awareness there. And with an exhale breath, just have the intention for that place to soften. Send that intention there. And all the connective tissues soften. All the membranes, even the bones relax and soften. All the fluids slow down. All the communication can rest. Giving your body permission to rest and slow down. Giving the mind permission to rest. Take a break. And the breathing just happens on its own, and you can be curious about how that happens. The mysterious life force that breathes us. gently bring awareness back to the breath. Just feeling the expansion of the inhale and the exhale, so you can gently bring some effort back to the breath. And you could bring awareness to the pelvis and breathe into the pelvis. And see if you can feel the expansive quality of the inhale in your pelvis and the contraction, the release of the exhale in your pelvis. Imagine or feel the connection of your psoas from your diaphragm through the pelvis to the legs. Can you breathe there? Can you feel the expansion of the inhale and the contraction of the exhale in your pelvis? Feel the reproductive organs expanding as you inhale and contracting gently as you exhale. When we accumulate stress, we become rigid. It's these different parts. So yoga helps us to bring the breath and the prana back into those areas of rigidity. You breathe here. And as you're ready, you could start to find a little bit more movement, maybe in your fingers, toes. Just following your body's natural impulses to come back to some movement, maybe opening your eyes when you're ready and seeing the space. And a wake up stretch, maybe arms overhead. Stretch, yeah. So take your time. You could bend your knees and roll onto your side if you like. No rush, we'll transition back to a seat. Just your most comfortable seat, and you could bring hands to your heart again, just as we began, or hands in prayer. Maybe closing your eyes so you can tune in again to your heart, remembering your intention, or just tuning into your heart. And acknowledging your practice today, acknowledging each other. It's so nice to come together and practice yoga. Supporting each other in this practice and this healing process, and we'll connect with the sound of Om. Empty your lungs, deep inhale. Namaste, Hare Krishna.
Namaste, Hare Krishna.